Welcome to Deck Analysis and Testing. Today we have a look at Dragunity. Dragunity is a synchro deck based around equipping dragons to your winged beast monsters. It's like Unity monsters, but good. Many of the tuners can special summon themselves when they become an equip card. Some of them aren't even once per turn, after the new support giving them a new skill, a monster negate, and a very powerful going second spell. This seemingly linear deck got a lot more complicated, especially with the introduction of the Link 2 from the skill. But the endboard is quite strong. The deck can put out one monster negate and one spell trap negate pretty easily, and in high roll hands can even rip multiple cards from your opponent's extra deck as well. We will start off by looking at the free-to-play version. Let's have a look at the tuners first. We have 3 copies of Dragunity Coos. This is the non-once per turn special summon when this card becomes an equip card, and it's level 2, but can also be treated as level 4 if you synchro summon with it. We have the level 3, which also has the effect to special summon itself, but it is a hard once per turn, and it also has the other effect to revive a level 4 or lower winged dragon or winged beast monster from your graveyard if you normal summon this card. Next are the winged beast non-tuner monsters. We have 1 copy of Senatus. This is our main starter. You can discard a card to equip a Dragunity monster to it from your deck, and usually it will be a copy of Coos, and very occasionally it will be the level 3 guy. We have a Legatus. This is a extender. You can special summon this card if you control a Dragunity or the field spell. And if you have a Dragunity monster card in your spell and trap zone, you can target a spell trap on the field and destroy it. We have an extender, a Dragunity Armor Mistiltane. This card is a level 6, can special summon itself by sending a face-up Dragunity monster you control to the graveyard, and when no more special summoned from the hand, you can equip a dragon Dragunity monster from your graveyard. This is searchable from Dragunity Glow, which you get from the skill, which you can search with your link to. And we have 1 copy of the level 10 Dragunity Armogram. This is pretty good going second because it's just really big, and also very searchable, and has spell speed 1 effect to target a face-up monster and negate its effects and lower its attack by 1,000 for every equip card you control. And also, when you destroy something by battle, you can just equip it to this card. For the spells, we're on 1 Terraforming, which is really strong to search our best spell ever, Dragon Ravine. This card is the searcher of your deck, and also even better because this skill can reveal it and then search another card. Once per turn, you can discard 1 card, activate one of these effects. You can either send a dragon monster from your deck to your graveyard, which you will pretty much never do, or you will add 1 level 4 or lower Dragunity monster from your deck to your hand. And this is not a hard once per turn, so hypothetically, in the expensive version, if you bounce it back with something, you know, like Zephyros, the Elite, you can use it again. But every time you use it, you do need a discard, so it's just hypothetically, you could choose to do it. We have 3 copies of Dragunity Whirlwind, really strong spell when you're going second. This card, when your opponent controls a monster, can special summon a Dragunity tuner and wing beast Dragunity from your deck, and then if your opponent has a extra monster, you can immediately synchro summon using those 2 monsters. And because you negate the effects of the monsters you summon, you can't really make a level 8 synchro using Coos, because Coos has the effect of treating itself as a level 4, but it's negated, so you can only make the level 6 one. That's where we need to play this card. And finally, we have 3 copies of Dragunity Divine Lance. This is the equipped spell of the deck, and is a really strong extender, and also has a really strong effect if you equip it to a big Dragunity Synchro monster, because it lets it gain attack, and also it makes it immune to trap cards. This card was really strong back in the day when Dragunities were tiered at some point. It will be equipped to Ascalon and make it really big, and then after you use Ascalon's effect to banish everything on the field, you just attack and win on its own. Let's have a look at the extra deck monsters. We have one copy of the level 6 this card. When synchro summon, can equip back a level 3 or lower Dragunity dragon monster from a graveyard, and you can use that to equip back Ku, summon itself back, and then ladder on top of it to make the level 10 synchro. Another way we can synchro climb is with discard. Bartra is a level 8 synchro and can equip any number of Dragunity monsters from your graveyard. And you can equip other synchro monsters because the synchros are all Dragunity monsters. So if you equip a really big Dragunity dragon monster, you can use the effect of some of your spell and trap cards to special summon them from equipped to your monster. So that is a convoluted way to kind of revive one of your dragon synchros from a graveyard, but it works. Next we have a copy of Dragunity Knight Trident. This card is quite strong. This card is basically Kashtira Unicorn on steroids. This card can, once per turn, send up to 3 cards you control to the graveyard, and then look at your opponent's extra deck and send an equal amount of cards from that to the graveyard. And usually you will be sending the field spell and maybe the divine lands on your field, and then you can rip a couple of cards from your opponent's extra deck, and also know what they're playing, and remove some of the most important extra deck pieces that they will never have access to for the rest of the game. And also, because of how extra deck monsters work, if you send them to the graveyard with an effect, they cannot revive them with something like a Monster Reborn type of effect, because it was not special summoned properly. So that is something to keep in mind. You don't have to worry about them. Oh no, if I send a really strong monster, can't they just like revive it with an effect? No, they can't. They cannot, because it's not how it works. We also have one copy of the other level 7 Dragunity Synchro. This card, when synchro summoned, can also equip a Dragunity tuner from your graveyard to discard, and has a quick effect to send an equipped card you control that is equipped to discard to the graveyard, and then banish 2 cards from your opponent's graveyard. It's another form of interruption, but you won't make this card very often. We have one copy of Gaybolg. This card is not very good, but it is a really strong beater. If you can cheat it out using the effect of one of your level 10 synchros, it beats over most things, and it's good enough. And speaking of the level 10 synchros we were playing, one could be of Dragunity Knight Ascalon. This is your main going second boss monster. This card can have a non-once per turn effect to banish a Dragunity monster from your graveyard, and then banish a monster your opponent controls. If the synchro summoned card is destroyed by your opponent's card, you can special summon a Dragunity synchro monster with 3,000 or less attack from your extra deck, and it is treated as a synchro summon. And finally, we have the other level 10 synchro that you will be making when you go first. This card is basically a monster negate, and it is once per turn, unfortunately. And also, when it is destroyed, you can destroy all background your opponent controls. I forgot to mention that there is technically one more synchro monster that we're playing. We're playing a Gay Dirg. This card is not like other Dragunity synchro monsters in that it has a pretty different effect than most of them. It has a non-hard once per turn effect to search the dragon or winged beast monster, and then discard a dragon or winged beast monster. It's not that good in the free-to-play version, but it is very useful in the expensive version as part of a combo to put Zephyros the Elite to the graveyard and then summon itself back by bouncing the field spell. So have a look at the skill. The skill has the effect to add the Link 2, which is Romulus, to your extra deck, and then add Dragunity Glow and Dragunity Counter Trap to your deck. So Dragunity Glow is a spell card that searches a level 5 or higher Dragunity monster from your deck or graveyard, and then has the graveyard effect to summon back something that is equipped to your monster. And the other card is a counter trap that negates spell traps. So it also has the effect of the skill to reveal one Dragon's Ravine or Dragunity Whirlwind from your hand, shuffle a card from your hand to the deck, and then add a Dragunity monster or a equip spell from the deck to your hand, or you can choose to send it to your graveyard. So that's why even if we don't really have a useful Whirlwind, if we go first, we still want to draw it just because we can use it with our skill to search anything. Now let's look at the expensive version, which is, not that much different as you expect from decks from deck build boxes. The main difference is that we have a copy of Zephyros the Elite. This card is really, really strong and makes a lot of a difference when you have this card included in your deck because it allows you to do combos that you otherwise cannot in the free-to-play version. And because of that, we don't need that many copies of Legatus anymore because this card was only very useful if you don't have Zephyros the Elite as part of your extenders. But now that we do, we don't need that many copies of Legatus anymore. And instead we have more space to play other cards like Dux, because Dux is a really strong card if you draw Ku specifically. That makes you have one less discard in the course of your combo, and that will be very helpful to not use every single card from your hand just to make your turn 1 end board. And the extra deck is pretty much the same, but the combos are very different for the free-to-play and the expensive version because of the inclusion of Zephyros the Elite. So let me show you the combo right now. Okay, so now we have our Scapegoat level 10 Yami Yugi to show us what the expensive version of the combo looks like. And the combo needs 1 Dragon Ravine plus 2 discards, and that's it. That's pretty much the 1-card combo. You can do this if you draw a combination of other cards, but the easiest way to do it is exactly 1 Ravine, and then some other cards for you to discard. You don't need Glow in your hand, but if you do, it lets you search other things in the course of the combo, and it lets you end on a Spell Trap Negate as well. So let's have a look at the combo. We'll activate Ravine. We'll not use a skill yet to reveal the Ravine because we'll save it for later. Then normal summon the Sonatus, discard 1 equip Kus, and Sonatus to make Gate Dirg. Dirg will grab the Zephyros and then discard the Zephyros. Zephyros bounce back to Field Spell and summon itself back. And now we can use our skill, revealing the Ravine, shuffling back the Ravine, and then adding a Lance to our hand. We can go Lance and equip the level 3 Tuner, and then use the Zephyros and the level 3 to make the Trident. And at this point, you can use the Trident effect to send the Divine Lance to rip 1 card from your opponent's extra deck. But, our opponent is level 10 Yami Yugi, so they don't have an extra deck. But that is in the point of your combo where you are supposed to send the Lance to the graveyard to rip 1. Anyway, after you do that, you will link the 2 Synchro monsters away to make the link 2. Romulus will be adding a copy of Glow, usually. But because we already drew it, we can grab the counter trap instead. And we can activate the Glow to grab ourselves the level 6 monster. And same with the level 6 monster. If we already have this in our hand, we can just grab the counter trap instead. We're going to use the level 6 to equip back the Kus, summon back the Kus, treat it as a level 4, synchro summon the monster to the gate. And then if we have the counter trap, we can set one and pass as well. And that will be the basics of the combo. There's a lot of ways you can do this. You don't necessarily need to draw Ravine, but Ravine is really strong. And also, it's a free face-up card for Zephyros to bounce back. That's why it's so strong in the expensive version specifically. Okay, now let's have a look at some actual replays. This is the free-to-play version, and we're playing against who knows what we're playing against. Oh, it's a mirror match. Cool. But we're going first, so let's see what we can do. We do have the Whirlwind, which is amazing. We can return one of the spare lances that we have to make the Sonatas in our hand. We'll go for a pretty standard combo this time. We're not going to try to rip our opponent's extra deck. Instead, we're just going to try to make a Spell Trap Negate plus a Monster Negate, which is probably going to be enough. Then go Romulus and grab the Counter Trap, and go Lance. And so we'll be equipping a third Coos to our level 8 Synchro, and then let's make the level 10 Monster Negate. We'll set 2 and pass to our opponent. Our opponent will be using their skill, unsurprisingly. They have the Ravine, which is annoying. But they aren't really playing the level 10 monster, so I'm not really that concerned. We're gonna negate the Dragon's Ravine because it's so strong, and then we're gonna negate the normal summon as well. And then they kinda don't have an out to our monster now. We're gonna switch our monster to attack, and unfortunately this card does not do it, so we're just gonna keep it in our hand. Our opponent is just gonna give up and attack into our monster, and you know, now that our opponent doesn't have a lot of life points left, let's style on him a bit. We can use the level 6 to make a Ascalon just because we could, and then just attack with it for lethal. Okay, in our second game, we're once again going first, but this time we will be trying out the extra deck ripping combo. Our opponent's playing Ursatix actually, and we will be able to rip their most important level 1 synchro monster from the extra deck, and basically prevent them from doing anything significant. We have the Ravine, so let's use it to add the Senatus. Senatus effect, discarding the level 4 guy, will make a Trident, and then activating the Lance to grab ourselves a Coos. Summon the Coos, and then go Trident effect to send the field spell and the equip. And then we found out that they're playing Ursatix, and we'll send the 2 Polaris that we find in the extra deck. And that's the only 2 they have, so good luck to them. And then we're going to use the link to grab the spell, grab the level 6, and then make the Monster Negate and pass back to them. And that should be enough, because there's not a lot they can do without their Synchro Monster. They're going to activate the 2 spells, they're going to contribute 1 to attempt to summon, that is the most profitable negate ever. So we'll do that. Our opponent reveals that they actually have the Synchron stuff, so they can Synchro summon, but except they cannot because we already sent all of the Synchros to the graveyard, so they just kinda have 2 monsters sitting on the field, and there's pretty much nothing they can do without the 2 Synchros that we ripped away from the extra deck. Okay, now final game, we're gonna be going first again, but this time we are playing the expensive version, so we will have access to the Zephyros Elite line of the combo. We draw Ravine, which is pretty nice, and we can have a little bit of a variation than what I showed off in the Yami Yugi gameplay. It's pretty much the same combo, but we have a different way of approaching it. Because we drew pretty well. We have basically more cards to send with Trident. We have a free Legatus to send alongside a Ravine, so we can rip 3 instead of only 1. We're gonna then link away to make a Romulus, grab Glow grab the level 6 summon itself, equip back the Coos, just like in the Yami Yugi combo, and then we're gonna make the Monster Negate and pass back to our opponent. And they're playing Ghostrix, and without the Angel of Mischief, there's not a lot the deck can do, and also the deck really needs a monster on the field, so when they activate the effect, we can just negate and banish that monster, and then they kinda really can't do anything. They can just only kinda set traps and pass. We draw pretty much the best card against his deck, because the Lance makes us unaffected by traps. As you can see, our opponent tries to flip Cylinder, nothing happens because our monster is immune. And they activate free-to-play staple, Cloak and Dagger. That's completely fine, I don't really care. He's gonna set another trap and pass, and now we can equip another Coos, and let's try to summon the first Coos. That triggers the first Cloak. That's fine, we can summon the second Coos again. It's not once per turn. He tries to Warding Point our Senatus, that's fine. We can still attack with the Coos, and that is enough attack to attack over their monster. They try to Drowning, that doesn't work because of Lance, and then we can just attack in for lethal.